Welcome to Hartfelt Beer Reviews. Today we will be reviewing Founders KBS. This is an Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels with chocolate and coffee added. It comes in at 12.2% alcohol by volume. And this beer is exciting. Let me read the description here. It says, what we've got here is an Imperial Stout brewed with a massive amount of coffee and chocolate, then cave aged in oak bourbon barrels for an entire year to make sure this wonderful bourbon undertones come through in the finish. This beer will make your taste buds squeal with delight. I don't know about that, but we'll find out. Okay, this is a 2019 release. Comes in a 12-ounce bottle. They are out of Michigan. And it says, on the label right here, it says, Founders, highly acclaimed KBS. A flavored stout is good for everything a flavored stout ought to be good for. So this came out, I believe, in mid-March. I think March 15th, actually. But I am going to open it up, get the aroma and flavor, and review the final product for you. Get it out of the bottle here. You get chocolate syrup, kind of like a Hershey's chocolate syrup. You get a very distinctive Colombian coffee, like a moderately spiced coffee, but it's not too overwhelming whatsoever. You do get bourbon undertones. Obviously, there's an ethanol presence for it being 12.2% alcohol by volume, but it's not cloyingly sweet. The ethanol is not too forward, at least in the bottle. Let me pour it into a glass. I'm going to do a hard pour here so I can see how well this head forms. And it just pours a very deep black, kind of like a khaki coffee color head. I might have poured it a little too aggressively, but that's okay. You can see it's got nice compact bubbles, and the head really sticks around and it laces around the glass. So I'm going to do leave a little bit of a quarter of the glass not filled, just so I can get a good aroma. This is released every year and has been released every year for, I'd say, probably 20 years by now. I'm not exactly sure when it was first released. Yeah, for the aroma you get a very distinctive, moderately roasted coffee. It's not really dark. It's not really bitter. It's got a nice South American Colombian spice to it, so it just has a little bit of a kick other than just regular coffee. And then you get you almost get a rich baker's cocoa. Again, this does impart a little bit of bitterness, but it's not so bitter that that's all you can taste. So what I'm getting out of the aroma is you get a kind of like a deep baker's chocolate, and then you get a syrupy sweetness, just a little bit. It's not too syrupy, so it's not really thin. This is more viscous than most beers because this is a stout. And just to go over, a stout basically is all beer contains yeast, hops, malt, barley, and water. And what you do for a stout is you just take those ingredients and you dark roast them like a coffee bean. And depending on the roast level or the amount of ingredients that you add will depend on how heavy this stout is. Most stouts range anywhere from, I'd say, 7% to 12% alcohol by volume. Now when you start to barrel age stouts, like this is barrel aged, you can get upwards of 15 to 17 to even 20% alcohol by volume, which is insane. But I got this in a 4-pack. You can get a 4-pack for about $20, which is not too bad. I'm going to go ahead and give you a taste, and then we'll see what it tastes like. Okay, yeah. Pretty much follows the nose. You get that moderately roasted Colombian coffee, which I really enjoy. And then you get it's a little sweet for my preference. You get a syrupy sweetness with kind of a backbone of like a Dutch cocoa powder. You do get a little vanilla, which is not in the nose at all. You get just more of a vanilla sweetness because they don't brew this with vanilla bean at all. And this really packs a punch with ethanol. You know, I've had stouts that the alcohol is really hidden, and I prefer those because when I drink them, I just don't want it to burn all the way down. It's not preferable. but it's not too bad. It's not overpowering. You definitely can taste all the 12.2% alcohol, but just in the taste, you get a sweet syrup Hershey's chocolate. You get a kind of like a Dutch cocoa powder that it's very subtle, and then you get the Colombian coffee at the front of the mouth, and in the middle of the mouth, you can really taste that vanilla sweetness that really imparts and enhances a lot of the other flavors in the beer. And then when you swallow, in the finish of the beer, you do get a faint bourbon-y taste. It's not really overwhelming. This was aged for 1 year in white oak bourbon barrels. But personally, I've had a lot better. I mean, this is a good beer. I think everyone should try this beer that wants to try craft beer. I'm not talking down on this beer. It's not my preference because I've had much better. But that's just me talking because I've reviewed God knows how many beers. But this is Founders KBS 2019 release. Comes in at 12.2% alcohol by volume, and it is a Russian Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels. I hope you've enjoyed this review of KBS by Founders Brewing Company. Thank you.